Review and brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. And the border battle wraps up for 2009 here this afternoon in Milwaukee. And a great crowd expected today, the Brewers and the Twins. For the final time this season, the Brewers trying to win the final 2 games of this season series after dropping 5 consecutive. Ron Gardenhire's lineup looks like this today. Denard Span returns for Minnesota. He's been on the disabled list since June 10th. Jason Kubel back in the lineup, normally their designated hitter. No DH, of course, in a National League ballpark, so Kubel gets the start in left field, and he is part of those 3 left-handed batters that have given the Brewers fits so far this year. That lineup will face Mike Burns, 7-2 down in AAA. And for our Piggly Wiggly scouting report, we went to the man himself, Mike Burns, yesterday, talking about his stuff and what he has to do to be effective.
It's just a matter of what I do is just try to go after hitters and throw strikes, you know. Definitely have defense help me out. I'm not a guy that's going to overpower a lot of guys, but it's just a matter of throwing strikes and going after the hitters.
Well, Mike Burns, his first career major league start at 30 years of age, and what a moment it must be for him. Defensively behind Burns, it is Braun, Cameron, and Hart in the outfield. Casey McGee gets the start at third base with Hardy and Counsell up the middle, Fielder over at first. And the veteran Jason Kendall catching Mike Burns, and I would imagine the most important man on this list for Mike Burns today is his catcher, Jason Kendall.
Just needs to calm the 30-year-old down just a little bit. Control pitchers, when they have the nerves going, a little bit of anxiety, it might affect them a little bit, but they say that this guy's really doesn't let much bother him.
Now, Burns was saying that he felt like the appearance for the Brewers in Florida earlier this year is going to help ease him into the situation a lot better. You know, he's already pitched for this ball club. They've seen what he can do. He went 4 scoreless innings against the Florida Marlins. And it was that performance combined with his efforts down in AAA, and a guy who is just dialing up AAA hitters down there, and a 7-game winner down in AAA that earned him a spot here this afternoon.
Yeah, outstanding stuff down in Nashville. 77 2/3 innings, 13 walks, 48 strikeouts. So ordinarily puts the ball in play, has a good sinking fastball, throws a curveball, slider, and a changeup. So the Twins are going to see just about everything from Burns.
Well, Denard Span returning to the Twins lineup today. He's been on the disabled list with an inner ear disorder. He's been on the DL since June 10th. And after a few games down in AAA, rehabbing, his first game back in the big leagues. And Burns walks Span. So a leadoff walk given up by Mike Burns. His strikeout to walk ratio down in AAA about 3.5 to 1, which is a very good number. He last started on Saturday in Oklahoma. Went 7 1/3, gave up 10 hits in that game, but only 1 earned run. Walked 2, struck out 4. He threw 112 pitches in his last start. So, Rock, he pitches on his normal turn in the rotation here today.
And he has gotten up to 116 pitches in his AAA outings. So really no worries about much of a pitch count. You figure he's going to go if he's able to, and his effectiveness keeps him out there, 100 to 120 pitches.
Span is a base stealer, and a big lead over at first as Harris takes a strike. Home plate umpire today is Hunter Wendelstedt. The crew chief is Jim Joyce. He's over at third, so if there is a need for a replay or a review of a home run, it'll be Jim Joyce who makes that call. Doug Eddings and Brian Knight, the other base umpires. On the ground, chance for 2 here right away. Hardy flips to Counsell, and he turns the double play, but Counsell wiped out at second base, and he is down in a heap.
Yeah, look out for that knee. It's a sore knee that Counsell's been able to play with, and Span got down there very quickly. As you mentioned, he has good speed, and a clean slide at second base, trying to take out Counsell. He did that, but Counsell able to get the ball on its way to first base. Taylor-made with that sinking fastball. Clean slide, but Counsell goes down at second base, and it looks like he's got some problems out there.
Well, you see he lost his shoe. He was not able to clear that left foot. Usually you try to get it off the ground so the impact knocks it away.
That's the plant foot when you throw. So that thing was stuck firmly into the ground, and that's what Span ran into. Well, that's the last thing the Brewers need, another second baseman to go down.
Counsell was considering knee surgery this spring prior to the season. A meniscus injury that at some point is going to require a cleanup and a surgery. But Counsell decided against it.
You see, the timing couldn't be worse when Span hit the leg because it was firmly planted into the ground. You know, bracing himself to throw to first base. A little bit sooner, a little bit after that, might not have had the same impact.
I tell you what, the fact that his foot came out of the shoe might have saved a serious injury right there. That was the only thing that gave. It looked like his spikes were dug into the bag. Looks like Counsell is going to be able to stay in the game, but that's something we'll be watching throughout this ball game today to see if he can continue.
Right, that's what makes second base. It's a tough position to turn that double play when you have a guy that runs that quickly, gets there right on top of you. You really can't see him. You can feel his presence. You kind of know he's going to be there, but you turn around, he's right on top of you. It takes a lot of guts to play that position and turn that double play.
Well, it goes as a 6-4-3 put out, and that clears the bases for Joe Mauer. Mauer comes in batting .394, 14 home runs, 42 driven in. He's already set a career high for home runs. He has struggled in this series, however. He did have an infield hit and a walk late yesterday. Matter of fact, he walked twice in yesterday's game. He was 1 for 3. Took the collar in the opener on Tuesday. He was 0 for 5. It's not a guy you can keep down very long.
He just stays just about on everything. I mean, you very rarely see him get fooled, and when he does, he's still able to keep the hands back and make solid contact. Keeps the bat in the hitting zone an awfully long time. We've been talking about it. You know, now this is the 6th game against the Twins, and he continues to impress you even when he doesn't get hits. He's just a good hitter.
Now, Mauer against the Brewers in Minneapolis had 5 hits in a 3-game series, 2 home runs, and he drove in 5 runs. And Mauer and Morneau did a lot of damage against the Brew Crew at the Metrodome. They've been relatively quiet here in this series at Miller Park. Twins won the opener. Final score of 7-3. The Brewers winning last night. And Burns strikes out Mauer. A good start for Mike Burns. He faces 3 batters and a scoreless first. Now the Brewers coming up. Counsell, McGee, and Braun at the top of the order. Prince Fielder, Corey Hart, and Mike Cameron in the middle. You see Fielder's numbers against starter Scott Baker this year. Very good. And then the bottom three, J.J. Hardy, Jason Kendall, and Mike Burns rounding it out against Scott Baker. 4 wins, 6 losses this year, Ron.
Yeah, throws a lot of strikes. Just like Burns, only 13 walks so far this year, 81 innings. A lot of fastballs, and particularly the left-handed batters. 3 different speeds on his breaking pitch. Curveball, slider, cutter. And he's been limiting his home runs lately. He's given up 15, but none in his last 3 starts. Matter of fact, Baker gave up 7 home runs in his first 2 starts. So those 15 home runs, a bit deceiving. He hasn't been giving them up lately.
Baker pitched against the Brewers on May 24th. Went 8 1/3 in that game. Was taken out in the 9th inning after a Fielder home run. Counsell drives one down the line. That's a fair ball. That'll go to the wall. And right away he'll test that knee. Counsell is in there with a double. 8-game hitting streak for Craig Counsell as he doubles to get the Brewers started offensively.
Well, Counsell able to do something not many left-handers have been able to do this year. Getting base hits off of Baker. One of the best batting averages in the American League against lefties at under 200. That's kind of rare for a right-handed pitcher. But Counsell able to get one up in the zone, bang it down the right field line. And a good start for the Brewers.
Double number 10 for Counsell after a scare on the top of the first when he was rolled over at second base, turning a double play. So the Brewers may have dodged a bullet on the injury front with Craig Counsell as Casey McGee takes a strike. McGee back in the lineup today. Did not play yesterday. He actually pinch hit yesterday, but did not start. And McGee shoots one. Oh, what a play by Tolbert. Wow, what a great play that was. Full extension. And instead of a base hit and an RBI, McGee will have to settle for just advancing Counsell to third base.
Wow, what a beautiful play by Matt Tolbert. The Twins, one of the best defensive clubs in all of baseball. Didn't show it last night. But check this out. Casey McGee doing what he has to do, hitting the ball to the right side. But a tremendous defensive play. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. That's what makes that 8th inning such a surprise. You know, with the Twins throwing the ball around like that, they don't do much of that.
Well, the Twins committing the fewest errors in the major leagues when this series started, but they have committed 3 errors in this series. And the 2 errors on the one play yesterday cost them the game. That was in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Infield is in for Ryan Braun with Counsell over at third. Kind of a risky move here early, but Ron Gardenhire, with a sinker ball pitcher on the mound, is going to take a shot and try to cut down a lead run.
Sometimes the Twins look a bit unorthodox on defense, but so far so good for them. They play very deep in the outfield. They'll do things that ordinarily you're not going to see. But with Fielder and Braun coming up, very unusual to have that infield in. Open yourself up for a big inning.
Counsell a leadoff double. McGee grounds out but advances him to third base. Now Braun trying to get one in the air at least. And a good hack. 2 good cuts for Braun against Baker, but he's down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Baker has good life on his fastball. A little bit deceiving. Doesn't have much of an effort out there. He's kind of a guy that has a nice, easy delivery, but he gets it up there about 93 miles an hour. Kind of surprises you. And then he'll flip up those breaking pitches. This guy has had a lot of success with the Twins. Had a good year last year.
Former 2nd-round draft pick by Minnesota. Out of Oklahoma State. He was drafted in 03. Pretty quick rise to the big leagues, and he's been one of their more consistent starters. And at age 27, he's like many of these other Minnesota starters, a guy who throws a lot of strikes, very economical in his execution. That's why you see him around games, deep in games, when he has his good stuff. Matter of fact, that game against the Brewers, when he went 8 1/3, he only threw 106 pitches into the 9th inning. Two and two to Braun. Baker making his 14th start of the year, but only his 6th start away from the Metrodome. Braun staying alive just off the end of the bat. Count stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another hot afternoon here in Milwaukee. Some cloud cover around, though. That is the first thing hitters do when they come to the ballpark for a day game. Any kind of cloud cover is well accepted by the offensive players.
Yeah, a little bit of breeze blowing in from the lake, which is going to cool things down a little bit. Got the glass panels opened up.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Counsell still at third base. And Braun, oh my goodness, almost wiped out Prince Fielder over there. Prince be nimble. Prince be quick.
Oh boy. There's a good start.
Look at that.
Boy.
Wow.
No, and got the fan in the first row. Well, you talk about just barely getting a piece of one. Nice catch.
Yeah, he's got a good smile on his face. That's good to see. Another 2-2 coming to Braun. And he fouls another one away. Boy, what an at-bat going here for Braun. Baker, you can tell, Rock, he's trying to reach back a little bit. That fastball at 93 miles an hour. You know, starting pitchers don't like reaching back, getting into their A equipment in the first inning. They like to ease into it.
Well, you like to make a pitcher work early before they get loose. I mean, high pitch counts in the first inning take more out of you than they do later in the game because you're not loose, you're not in the rhythm.
So the 9th pitch of the at-bat coming against Braun. And a bouncer to short. Harris will make the throw to first, and it's in time. Boy, Gardenhire brings the infield in, takes a huge gamble, and it pays off right there.
And a good pitch by Baker. He kept the baseball down. I mean, it's always good when a manager decides to take a chance, bring the infield in, and has a pitcher out there that executes very well. Now, if Baker gets that pitch up in the zone, and Ryan able to dump it into the outfield, you know, then you got troubles. But a good pitch by Baker, keeping it down, tried to put some sink on it, and made their manager look pretty good.
So the infield backs up with 2 outs, and here is Prince Fielder. Well, defense was the issue last night for Minnesota, but they have made 2 good plays already in this first inning, keeping Counsell on the bases for now. That play Tolbert made, robbing McGee of an RBI hit, might just save him a run here in the first. Prince has had some success against Baker, however. One of his 17 home runs came against Scott Baker on the 24th of May. That was a 2-run home run in the 9th inning, and that's what ultimately sent Baker to the clubhouse. Prevented him from posting a complete game on Milwaukee. Baker seems content to deal with Corey Hart. And now they'll officially walk Fielder. Mauer says, why bother at 3-0, and Fielder is aboard.
Yeah, one of the best run producers in the game. But the success that Baker has had against left-handers, I mean, one of the lowest batting averages against a left-handed batter. There you see it right there, under 200, and righties have fared much better. And talking to Dale Swaim about that, I asked him about that at the batting cage today. He said he just does nothing but pound the the strike zone on the outside corner. Doesn't mess around, come in too much. Of his 15 home runs, only 2 have come against lefties.
Well, runners at the corners, and here's Corey Hart. Hart yesterday 0 for 4. Now 0 for 8 with a walk in the series. Prior to this series, Corey Hart had a 10-game hitting streak going. That included 3 home runs. He's been swinging the bat much better as of late. Off the end of the bat, little dribbler out to Tolbert. And Baker's going to get out of it. They took a gamble. They brought the infield in, and it saved them a run. We head to the second. Nine games in all. Check the Firestone leaderboard up above. Lowest opponent batting average first time through. The Brewers lead in that category. Mike Burns trying to continue that. Faced 3 batters in the first inning. Gave up a leadoff walk to Span, but a double play ball from Brendan Harris wiped out the base runner, and then Burns struck out Joe Mauer. Justin Morneau leads off. He'll be followed by Kubel, then Kadire. Morneau into center field. Playable for Cameron. One away.
Now the benefit of all those off-speed pitches, that one at 70 miles an hour, slow breaking ball getting Joe Mauer. I should say Morneau off the end of the bat. Well, nothing like your first big league start and getting a 3-batter inning. I mean, nothing like that for your confidence going into the next inning. Early success always important when you're making that first start.
Well, Burns certainly a guy you root for. He is a pitcher who has persevered. Was drafted in 2000 by the Astros, came up in Houston's system, ultimately to the big leagues with Houston. But he has bounced around quite a bit since his major league debut in 2004. He's been with the Reds, the Red Sox. Last year he pitched in the Cubs organization at AAA. Matter of fact, he and Casey McGee were teammates with the Iowa Cubs in Des Moines. And McGee speaks very highly of Mike Burns, who was an all-star last year in AAA. He said he's a great teammate and just a guy you could count on. You know, he's tough. He has a great mentality. Nothing phases him on the mound. He feels like, you know, he's just one of those good old-fashioned ball players.
And a guy you like to play defense behind because he works quickly and he throws a lot of strikes.
Kubel got jammed a little bit, flies out to left, out number 2. Burns is from Diamond Bar, California. He's actually a substitute teacher in the offseason. I mean, here's a guy who has a day job, right?
Yeah.
In the baseball offseason.
That's the way it was in the old days. Guys had to work in the offseason. And even guys in the minor leagues. I mean, minor league salary is not going to last forever. It's not going to last all year, at least most of them, particularly in the low minor leagues.
Well, that pitch right there is the key to his success. You know, Burns has a tremendous curveball, and he is willing to throw it in any count, according to Jason Kendall. And down goes Michael Kadire. A fastball well spotted on the outside corner. 3 up, 3 down, and Mike Burns is off to a great start this afternoon.
The Brewers have really been getting a lot of hits as of lately. Up until this point, the Brewers have strung together 20 hits, but the problem is pushing those runners across the plate. They have stranded 22 runners on base, and Ken Macha addressed that before today's game. He said we're getting a ton of runners on, but we're only getting a pound across the plate. So we'll see if they can do a better job of getting better swings on the ball when there are runners in scoring position and with 2 strikes and 2 outs, because that has been a problem more or less than just actually getting on base, guys.
And you have to give a lot of credit to the Minnesota pitching staff. You know, their staff as a whole, it's a strike-throwing staff, so they are willing to put men on base in certain situations, just like we saw with Prince Fielder in his last at-bat. You know, they're not afraid to pitch with multiple runners on base with 2 outs if it means working around a dangerous hitter like Fielder or Braun.
And that's one of the reasons why their outfielders play so deep. They're willing to give up the single because, as you mentioned, they don't walk many guys. The fewest walks of any team in Major League Baseball. 197 walks is it for the entire season so far for the Twins. But the surprising thing is they're 10th in the American League in ERA. Now you combine that, you take that as opposed to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the best earned run average in all of baseball. They've walked the most batters. How do you figure? They say if you don't walk people, you're going to do well, but it hasn't been the case.
And right on cue, Mike Cameron draws the walk. Second walk given up by Baker. Want to tell you about Brewers block parties. The first one is coming up tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Village Park in Brown Deer. Players and coaches, including Giovanni Gallardo and J.J. Hardy, will be making an appearance. The first of 3 scheduled block parties. The dates of the other 2, July 11th at Kern Park and August 15th at Hart Park. And say hi to our buddy Teddy Werner in the Brewers office. Doing a great job putting those block parties together. It's always a big hit.
Those are a lot of fun. They really are. Been to a couple of them. Now getting back to the walk situation, Los Angeles Dodgers at 264 or 364 earned run average as a team, 282 walks. The Twins, on the other hand, almost 100 walks less, and their ERA at 4.4. How do you figure?
A statistical anomaly as Cameron takes off, hit and run on there for the Brewers. You know, you look out at the outfielders here in Minnesota, and it strikes you right away how deep they play. But it all goes hand in hand with their philosophy on the mound and the entire organizational philosophy on what they are going to allow to hurt them and what they won't. Now, they're trying to basically take away extra base hits. They're all about slugging percentage, and that's why their outfielders play so deep. And you figure a few flares would fall every now and then. That would cost them. But in this series anyway, the positioning of the outfielders has cost the Brewers a number of hits. As Hardy rolls into a double play. Nice pickup over there by Justin Morneau at first base.
Yeah, talked to Ken Maki about the positioning of this Minnesota outfield, and he said just that. They take away the slugging percentage. They're going to make you get 3 base hits to score a run. And how many times do you do that? How many times do you get 3 hits in an inning? You don't do that very often, particularly with a good pitching staff. But that only works if you don't walk batters. And the Minnesota Twins, as we talked about, do not walk hitters. Not too many.
A leadoff walk in this inning. Wiped out with a double play. And here's last night's star, Jason Kendall. Kendall almost hit one out last night. That would have been the more conventional go-ahead swat. Instead, it turned into Keystone Cops. Kendall ultimately scored the winning run. It'll pop up to second. Tolbert staring into the sun. He's got it. And the inning ends. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Blaine Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly, shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin. And that leads us to today's Carsoup.com email the booth question. When a guy is making his first major league start, do you look for first pitch fastballs or make him throw pitches? Talking from the offensive perspective, Tate in Grafton wants to know. It's a good question. What is the approach against a guy that you know is battling some nerves?
Well, it's nice to have a guy, as you mentioned, like Jason Kendall, a guy that's now this is the 6th game that he's caught against these Minnesota Twins, knows the hitters very well. And you just got to have a guy out there behind the plate that's going to just calm you down. He has to be decisive. You don't shake him off early. You let Jason do the thinking for you. And all you have to do is execute. It makes your job a lot easier. You take half of the thinking process out of the equation.
Joe Crede on the first pitch pops it up. So Joe Crede's creed against Mike Burns was to get after him early. try to jump on the first pitch.
Well, these guys in that dugout, they watch what's going on. They know that Burns is featuring a pretty good curveball here today, and said, if I see a fastball that I like early, I'm going to jump on it. Why not? Don't want to have to go after that curveball.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a little bit comforting for Mike Burns as well to be in the fire here at the big league level, and then just to look over to his right just a few feet and see Casey McGee, a familiar face. Played with him all last year in AAA Iowa.
I think it'd be a lot different had he not, been with the club before this time. I mean, if this is his first appearance with the Brewers, which it isn't, he pitched very well in Florida with the team, and that's got to calm him down quite a bit. He even said that. Guys know him. You get to the clubhouse, they reacquaint themselves with each other. It's not one of those, hi, I'm Mike Burns type things. I would imagine, though, the strike zone's a bit different at the major league level than the AAA. Maybe a bit smaller. I don't know how many major or minor league ballparks have those Quest Tech machines, whatever they call them these days.
I don't think any of them do.
Yeah, so I think that the strike zone might be a bit more liberal down in AAA.
That would be an outstanding question for Mike Burns after this game. Of course, players may not admit things like that.
Not on camera, anyway.
Yeah, something for your own information. Bouncer out to Hardy. So Burns on a 3-2 pitch gets his second out. And Telly, we talked about Mike Burns in the fire at the big league level. He's experiencing a different kind of heat down there as well today.
Yeah, it's very toasty on the field today. And if you remember, his first appearance in a Brewers uniform came in Florida, and it was hot down there. But he said once he got back to Nashville, you want to talk hot. Those guys got to go through so much heat in Tennessee, and the fact that it'll rain in the morning and it just gets so steamy at night, he said the Florida weather was nothing, but he's used to it. But I got to ask Rock, okay, the pitcher is out there working, but you got a catcher back there with a lot of gear on. How does that affect you when you have that gear on in this type of heat?
Well, it is hot, particularly with that helmet on. It's like a crack pot. And the one thing that's nice is that the weather is such where it's not raining, or there's not the threat of rain, because if they close this roof, it would be unbearable in here. And particularly tough. Joe Mauer, a young kid, Jason Kendall catching a day game after a night game in this heat. Hats off to him.
Well, a great start. Burns has faced the minimum, another 3-up, 3-down inning in the third.
Vote early, vote often. And remember to vote Brewers now through July 2nd at Brewers.com.
Well, scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Good day to break a sweat today here at Miller Park, especially on the third base half of the stadium. Mike Burns at the plate. He did hit once with the Brewers in Miami when he pitched 4 scoreless innings for Milwaukee. That was back on the 2nd of June, but he's been swinging the bat regularly in AAA. Pitchers start to hit in the minor leagues at the AA level. They hit in AA and AAA. Down in single A and rookie ball, it's the designated hitter. But pitchers only hit in their ballpark when it's 2 nationally affiliates playing each other. Otherwise, the DH is in play.
It's complex, isn't it?
It's very. You're always wondering down there, is the pitcher going to hit today or not?
Nothing's ever easy, is it?
Burns down on strikes. And the first strikeout for Scott Baker. Well, I want to remind you that Saturday afternoons were made for baseball. And this week, Fox brings you the national game of the week. The Cubs take on the White Sox. Windy City rivals matching up. Fox Saturday baseball this week. 3 Central, only on Fox. Cubs losing again yesterday to the Tigers. Detroit has now won 6 consecutive games. Meanwhile, the Cardinals in a National League matchup with the Mets. They lost last night. Counsell yanks one foul.
The Tigers are up on the Cubs now, 6th inning, 6-4.
Tigers are hot. Swept the Brewers in that 3-game series. It's hard to believe the Tigers. You look at their pitching staff, and you understand why there's so much frustration in Detroit leading up to that series against Milwaukee. You know, a team that basically underachieved last year, and many in the Motor City feeling like they're underachieving this year until this recent stretch of games.
Well, the Tigers had lost, 4 straight when the Brewers got into town in Detroit? Yeah, the Tigers with the 2nd best team earned run average in the American League. Offense has been the problem for the Tigers, but they're starting to come around.
The Brewers wrap up American League opponents here this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Twins continue the interleague trend. They head to St. Louis next. Twins are 9-5 in interleague play this year. The Brewers 5-9. So it's going to be a losing campaign against the American League, but a win today would certainly jumpstart this homestand. The Brewers stole one last night. I think that's the best way to put it.
And that's something that can really get a team going. I mean, it looked like they snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat.
Two outs in the inning. Well, no home runs yet in this series. The Brewers still sitting on 81 as you look at the Wisconsin Lottery Powerball home run leaderboard. Fielder and Braun in there among the National League leaders in home runs.
A game like that last night, as we talked about, is one of those, especially the way they won it, the bottom of the order. J.J. and Jason Kendall getting it done, winning the ball game. It looked as though the team was kind of flat at the latter part of the ball game. That's something that can really inspire, not just Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder and the guys at the top of the order thinking that, I don't have to do it every night. And that's really a game that, really can set the tone for a nice stretch, and you hope that's going to be the case.
The Brewers are in the middle of a run here at Miller Park where they'll play 15 of 19 games in their home stadium. So this is an opportunity for Milwaukee, who historically, at least since the opening of Miller Park and on into these successful years, they played well here. They won 51 games here at Miller Park just 2 years ago. Game number 72 for the Brewers today. The Twins have played 2 more games than Milwaukee. And the good thing about this current stretch of games, the Brewers do not have to get on an airplane for a long time. Mid-July, next time they'll fly. The only road trip is to Chicago, and that's a bus ride down to Wrigley Field.
Actually able to empty out your suitcase for a while. Well, at least some of us anyway.
Put it away.
I remember I had a broadcast partner that essentially kept his suitcase in the car.
Is that right?
Never actually emptied it. Only from time to time got things cleaned up.
Well, Baker carving up Casey McGee right there. A 3-3 down inning with 2 strikeouts.
Fox Sports Wisconsin. You can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games every week live on your computer. You can catch those you missed on demand. For details, go to Brewers.com.
Busy day of baseball today. And a newsworthy day in baseball in a couple of spots. First of all, John Smoltz is returning to the big leagues today. Smoltz will start for the Red Sox tonight as they take on the Washington Nationals. So a little over a year since his shoulder surgery, John Smoltz will be in a Boston Red Sox uniform. That's going to take a little getting used to after so many years in Atlanta. Brad Lidge also returns from the disabled list. The Phillies are playing the Tampa Bay Rays, and they get their closer back, who's been down with a right knee injury. It has been impressive that the Phillies have been able to stay atop that division without some of their key figures, not just Brad Lidge, but also Raul Ibanez, their leading hitter, who is on the disabled list.
Yeah, Ryan Madsen had been closing games, but he's has had a tough time. Started out well. It's tough to replace the closer, no matter who it is. It's a big difference when you go from that setup role to the closer's role. Some guys have a tough time with it.
Phillies lead the Mets by a game and a half in the National League East. Marlins are playing good baseball. Florida has won 4 straight, and 7 of their last 10. Rock, they're right back in it as well. They're just 2 back.
That's a team that is very streaky. I mean, their pitching has been pretty solid throughout the season, but you know, it's all about the offense. Guys get hot, they score runs, they win games. They got some good arms on that pitching staff. The Brewers saw that in Florida.
Mike Burns has faced the minimum through 3 innings. The only base runner was the man at the plate, Denard Span. He walked to start the game, but a double play wiped out Span on the bases. And he walks him again. So Span's been a tough out for Mike Burns. The second walk in a pitcher's duel here this afternoon so far at Miller Park. If you're just joining us, Mike Burns making his first career Major League start and only his second career appearance for the Brewers. Burns with a couple of strikeouts to go along with 2 walks. Scott Baker always has great command. And he has punched out 2, coming off a 3-up, 3-down third inning. The Brewers had a runner at third base and 1 out in the first and could not score him.
Yeah, the Twins elected to bring the infield in with 1 out, a man at third base, and Ryan Braun at the plate, a 1 hopper to short. And that's pretty much been the only scoring opportunity for either team.
Close play. Span almost picked off.
Well, you get that throw a little bit further down, he's out. If he gets that ball down around the knees to Prince, Span's out at first base.
Span has stolen 12 bases this year. He's been caught 4 times. Just returning from the disabled list today. Baker bunts. Almost bunted that one off his helmet.
Well, he's scoring around the bunt. Looked like he wanted to push it towards second base. Check it out. Watch where this pitch ends up. Actually, the bat hit his helmet. The bat knocked his helmet off. Wasn't a baseball. That's what you call getting the bat knocked out of your hand.
Now Ron Gardenhire wanting to avoid a double play. See if Span is on the move at first base this time.
Span's got just about all he can get because he's been close over there at first base.
Harris pops it up. Braun gives it a look. And that one's going to head into the seats. Not by much. 0-2 the count on Brendan Harris.
And Burns quick pitched him that time. He was trying to keep Span honest at first base. Quick pitched Harris. Had Harris ready for it. It's another way that you can keep a runner close at first base. Not give him a jump. Quick pitch him, hold the baseball, throw over there once in a while, step off.
Harris chased one.
And Burns pretty quick to the plate. He's got that slide step. Doesn't take him long to get rid of it.
You know, Ken Maka talks about starting pitchers having success at the big league level. You have to command the fastball and you have to control the running game. And
Burns does both. It's just a matter of him throwing quality pitches, getting ahead in the count.
Burns has had a good fastball, especially the outside corner fastball that has gotten him a couple of strikeouts in this game.
And still another reason why Jason Kendall likes catching this guy. It's got to be fun to call a game. Actually, it is fun to call a game for a guy that can hit his spots and throw any one of his pitches for strikes.
Curveball off the glove of Burns, and that one has so much spin on it that everybody's going to be safe. That was a cue shot right off the end of the bat. It had so much English on it. Burns couldn't find the handle. Neither could Counsell. And a bad break for the Brewers here.
Man, it could have been a double play ball had Burns been able to handle it. But as you mentioned, right off the end of the bat, had that funny spin on it. And Counsell couldn't get there in time to make the play at first base. So rough start to the fourth, and now you get into the tough part of this order.
Yeah, Mike Burns was more than happy to keep that baseball. Home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt said we better get rid of that one.
He's got a big smile on it. You know, to get those cut bats, you get it on the end, get a little bit of a cut on it, and that ball will dance for you. Get some extra movement on it.
Well, a key spot for Burns as Mauer bats with 2 on. Comes right in there after him and starts him with strike 1. Mauer struck out in the first inning against Burns. Mauer has grounded into 4 double plays this year. Makes a lot of contact. Burns could certainly use a ground ball in this spot. Just missed with a fastball.
A good pitch down in the zone. That's a pitch you get your ground ball with.
Curveball strike, a dandy. Mauer watched it go by, and it finds the bottom of the strike zone, and it's 1-2.
Well, just right at the knees, but Hunter Wendelstedt liked it.
See if Burns will challenge him inside. Kendall sets up in there, and Mauer pops it up.
Nice.
Boy, what a pitch by Burns.
You talk about being able to hit your spots. My goodness. Exactly where Jason wanted it. Right, when you have a guy on the mound that can hit the spots like Burns has been able to so far, it's a lot of fun catching.
And that leads us to our Aflac trivia question this afternoon. What Major League Baseball Hall of Famer attended the same St. Paul High School as Joe Mauer?
I know that one. I'm going to stay out of it. I'm not going to give any hints.
How about just one hint? Who did he play for?
He played with Toronto.
Okay.
It was one of his teams.
One out. Here's Morneau. And a curveball laced into right. Base hit. And Span around third. Going to try to score. Hart's throw is cut off. Justin Morneau puts the Twins on top. 1-0. An RBI hit. And the first run of the game comes in the 4th inning.
Now, you know, most of the time you can get through one of these left-handers. You might get Mauer out, but then you got to deal with Morneau. Morneau drives him in. If he doesn't, Kubel's been swinging the bat well too. Pretty good 3-4-5 punch. That curveball up in the zone, the one that he threw to Joe Mauer that he got a called strike on, was down around the knees. That went up a little bit too much.
So Morneau drives in his 58th run of the year. 3rd in the American League in that category. Now Kubel with a base hit to right. Hart's got it, and they will hold Harris around third. So back-to-back hits by the left-handers. And the Twins now with bases loaded. Still just 1 out.
And it looks like the Twins are going up there looking for the curveball. First pitch curveball by Burns to Kubel, and he bangs it into right field. Didn't hit it hard, got it down in the trademark just a little bit.
Quick trip to the mound for Bill Castro, the Brewers pitching coach.
And one thing to keep in mind in this ball game, none of these Twins hitters have ever seen Burns obviously at the major league level. So early advantage for Mike Burns, but big league hitters, as we mention all the time, make adjustments very quickly. So second time through, the Twins are having a little bit more success.
3 hits and a walk in this inning given up by Burns. And a run is in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and a dangerous hitter coming up in Michael Cuddyer. Burns struck out Cuddyer in the 2nd inning. He got him on an outside corner fastball. Cuddyer doubled yesterday. Had 2 hits. That one gets away from Kendall. Harris won't try it. He thought about it for a moment. Harris took about 5 steps towards home plate, but with Cuddyer at the plate in a big inning in front of him, he decides to hold up.
It looked like a cross-up, but maybe not. If it was, Jason and Burns would be having a conversation right now. Just right off the finger of the glove, and Jason able to get there before Harris could score.
Two 2-0. And 3 balls, no strikes, nowhere to put him. Bases loaded. Harris at third. Morneau is at second. He drove in the run. And Kubel at first. Burns going with a 2-0 breaking ball there. And now he'll be forced to come after Michael Cuddyer. Fastball strike. Well, Kendall was saying earlier he is not afraid to throw any pitch at any count.
Well, that's going to be put to the test right here.
Bases loaded, 1 away. The Twins have a run in. And a swing and a miss on a fastball from Burns.
Well, Cuddyer looking fastball, got fastball, tried to hit it into Lake Michigan. A little bit of a long swing, and he swung right through it.
Brewers are set up for a double play. 3-2. Fouled it away. Came back with the heater. Another fastball. Cuddyer still late on it. And the count remains 3-2. Burns continues to throw strikes.
Well, Cuddyer behind the fastball because he's not convinced that it's going to be a fastball with all the curveballs that Burns has been throwing all day. A little bit of an element of doubt in the hitter's mind, just not able to be willing to sell out for that fastball even in this situation.
See what he has in mind. 3-2. Another fastball, and Cuddyer just gets a piece. How many strikes can he throw? Cuddyer wants to know. Three hits and a walk in this inning, and things heating up for the Twins against Mike Burns in his fourth. It's a huge batter. Fouled another one away.
Pretty good at bat right there, fighting off a curveball that time. He will throw it at any time, won't he?
And she goes home with a souvenir. Nice going. Walked him. Well, a bases loaded walk. And now the Twins knocking at the door at a big inning here in the fourth.
Well, all started with a walk to Denard Span and then an infield hit that was very close to being a double play ball. It's amazing how things can start out. Didn't hit the ball to the infield. You get Joe Mauer a fly ball, and Brewers haven't been able to get it out since. It all starts very innocently, doesn't it?
And Burns falling behind Joe Crede. Crede swung at the first pitch his last time up and popped out. Crede had a double with bases loaded in the opener in the first inning. And he lines that one to Counsell. Nobody is anywhere. Counsell was looking for somewhere to throw it, but the fielders couldn't beat the runners back to the bag. Out number 2. And the Brewers very fortunate that one was hit right at Craig Counsell.
Well, and the Twins are very fortunate it wasn't a short hop either. That would have been a double play ball. So Crede hits it right on the nose in the air to Counsell. Didn't have a play at second. He was looking at first base and just holds on to it. And a little bit either way. That's 2 runs.
So 2 outs, and Burns will face Matt Tolbert. Tolbert grounded out against Burns his last time up. Eighth man in the inning to bat for Minnesota. And that one's into right. Corey Hart easing back, and he's got it for the out. An over-the-shoulder catch. Corey Hart makes the play. Mike Burns surrenders 2. Could have been a whole lot more. A 31-pitch inning.
Six key Brewers players work together on a season-long drive for charity presented by Northwestern Mutual. Each month, a new player and a category of donations are chosen. The first 5,000 fans to donate a new or gently used items during specific games receive a collectible player pin courtesy of Northwestern Mutual and the Milwaukee Brewers. Below, you can see the schedule starting this weekend. Jason Kendall will kick things off with a food drive, and it'll all wrap up in September with Ryan Braun and the winter coat drive. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Telly. Bet you get some Clements sausages for the food drive. Good to see Carla Clements here earlier today.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see the folks from Clements Sausage Company here in the booth.
Hey, nice play down there. Scooped it up. It's one of the new features here at Miller Park. The sausages almost memorialized up there above the clock.
See new T-shirts we got in the back? We got the Clements Racing Sausage T-shirts from Joe Arnott.
That's right. Yeah, Joe brought the Racing Sausage T-shirts to the booth. That's a nice touch right there.
Yeah, those are new.
Braun thought he beat it out. Harris gets him by half a step.
Kid's always hustling down the line. He can never take anything for granted with a ground ball off the bat of Ryan Braun. But Brian Knight at first base umpire rings him up. Well, you love to see the hustle on a routine ground ball like that. Well, what can you say? You can't really fault the umpire either way on that call. Doesn't get much closer than that.
By an inch. These umpires are amazing.
Yeah.
How many calls they're just. It's got to be a feel thing. Umpires at first base, they try to listen for the pop of the mitt and the foot hitting the bag. So it's as much audible as it is anything else.
Yeah, they're looking at the bag. They're seeing when the foot hits, and they're listening to as you mentioned, the ball hitting the first baseman's glove. They can't look at both at the same time. It's eyesight and their sound. Using all the senses.
That's right. Smelled like an out. They're very good at what they do. It's easy and it's kind of fun. It is a part of the culture of the game to boo the umpires and chastise the umpires. But I tell you what, these big league umpires, they don't miss much. Fielder down the line. That's a fair ball. And that's going to scoot to the wall. Fielder with extra bases here. He'll glide into second with a double. Prince Fielder with a double to right field. And just like that, the Brew Crew with a runner in scoring position.
Well, second double of the ball game, second hit for the Brewers since Craig Counsell's leadoff double in the first inning. Fastball in, Prince able to pull the hands in, pop the hips open, and keep it fair just inside that first baseline. Good piece of hitting by Prince, keeping it fair all the way down in the right field corner.
Fielder's third hit of this series. And we'll see if Corey Hart can cash in here. This is what Telly brought up last inning about the Brewers with runners in scoring position. They have not been able to drive in runs for the most part in this series. That's why Kendall's double yesterday was so important, regardless of what happened with the errors and the fact that Kendall scored. Milwaukee has not had a lot of success. Only 4 hits in 19 at-bats the first 2 games with the runners in scoring position.
That's good news, bad news story right there. Good news is they've had men on, particularly in the first game of this series with Liriano on the mound. They left 2 runners stranded in each of the first 5 innings. But as you mentioned, you get that one big hit and you win those games.
Outfield very deep. Fielder at second base. Should score on a base hit as Hart takes one in tight. The Crew stranded 12 runners on Tuesday night, and they left 8 men on last night. So far today, they have stranded 2 base runners. And still awaiting their first home run of the series. A team that lives and dies with the long ball. Nice pickup by Mauer.
Well, you don't see Joe Mauer get down on his knees very often and block a ball. He's got that Johnny Bench type philosophy. He's going to stand in there and pick it. The difference is Johnny Bench very rarely missed one.
Yeah, I guess the hands that make Mauer such a good hitter, also the hands that allow him to pick up the short hops like
plus
that.
He's such a big guy. It's tough to move that size of a man around behind home plate like that.
3 balls, 1 strike on Corey Hart. 1 out. And Hart fouls it away. This is the time of day that hitters will tell you it is at its toughest to see the baseball, as those shadows from the roof line move out towards home plate.
It gets toughest when the pitcher and the catcher and the hitter are all in the shade and then have that background in the bright sunshine. Tough to see the rotation on the baseball. It's going to get worse before it gets better today.
Full count to Corey. 2-0 Twins lead here in the 4th inning. And Hart lines one right at Tolbert. A bullet right at the second baseman for out number 2. Well, our Aflac trivia this afternoon. What Hall of Famer attended the same St. Paul High School as Joe Mauer? Mauer, the first pick overall by the Twins in 01. And it was Paul Molitor. There you go.
He still works with the Twins. He works with the minor leaguers. He's a roving minor league instructor. Talks a little hitting, talks a little just basic baseball philosophy, infield, base running.
So when I asked you for a hint, you know, with one team that he played for, you thought maybe the Brewers might give that away?
If I said Toronto, the Brewers, and the Twins, what do you think? You know, another Hall of Famer came from the St. Paul area. That was Dave Winfield.
Dave Winfield, that's right. Who finished his career with the Minnesota Twins. And a former golfer. Cameron lines it to left, and that's the inning. Boy, a couple of line drive outs to end it. The Brewers come up empty again. Toes up. Plenty of sun for everyone today. On a warm afternoon in Milwaukee. Final game of the series, the rubber game of this 3-game series as well. The Brewers find themselves trailing 2-0. Mike Burns back on the mound as we head to the 5th inning. Burns facing Twins pitcher Scott Baker to lead off. And then it's back to the top of the order. The Twins brought 8 batters to the plate in the 4th, scored twice. Burns faced the minimum through the first 3 innings. Did have a walk, but a double play ball wiped it out. Didn't surrender his first hit until Harris reached on an infield single. And you think about that hit, Rock, if it's played a little different, it had a lot of spin on it, it was off the end of the bat. It could have very easily been a double play.
That's kind of the way things go sometimes. It was a good pitch by Burns. Harris just barely getting the end of the bat on it, and turned out like roses for Harris.
And the back-to-back hits by Morneau and Kubel. Morneau's drove in a run. Both batters swinging at first pitch curveballs from Mike Burns. So Ken Mock is sitting in that dugout. He and Bill Castro watching Mike Burns and how he's pitching here. And you have to be pleased with the way he's throwing the baseball.
Yeah, except for those back-to-back pitches that he threw. And one of them was up, one of them won a bad pitch. 2 base hits, but other than that, other than the walks, of course.
How about that play? Burns stabs one as Baker lines out. Fielding his position nicely, Mike Burns.
And most control pitchers are in good position to field once they let go of the baseball. The shoulders relatively square to home plate and able to reach out and get it in the web. It's those power pitchers that aren't in very good positions to field.
Top of the order now, Span, who has walked twice in his return from the disabled list. Well, he has really had a tough go of it. Has an inner ear disorder that's given him a lot of dizziness, a lot of pain. Started to feel better, then it came back on him again. When the Brewers were in Minneapolis, it looked like Span was going to finally get back into the flow of things, but had to go on the disabled list on the 10th of June, and he's just now returning. This is his first day back.
Yeah, that could really mess you up. I mean, that's something that you really don't know what's going on with you. Not a lot of pain involved, but you just don't have that equilibrium that you need to be out there and play every day.
That is a fair ball in big trouble. Span's having a great day in his return to the lineup. Now on his way to third. Council's throw to third is late. That's a triple. A 1-out triple. Span has been aboard all 3 times today.
That guy can fly. You can see why the Twins missed him so much when he was out. A couple of walks, he scored a run, and now a triple easily. Getting into third base on this ball down the line. Boy, just a nice, easy approach. Not a lot of movement, just drops the head of the bat on it. Rips it down the line. Corey Hart gets there quickly, but nowhere near in time to get Span at third base. Goodness, can he run. Thought Gomez could run. Guy that led off the first 2 games of this series.
Third triple of the year for Span. And now the Brewers forced to bring their infield in as Burns pours a fastball on the inside corner to Harris. Can't afford to get behind too much more than this. Not with the way Scott Baker is throwing the baseball. Joe Mauer would be next. Harris into center field. Cameron will make the play. Span tags up and no chance. Sacrifice fly and an RBI. The Twins lead 3-0. Fundamentally sound. The Twins deliver the run. Our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the day: what is your favorite interleague rivalry in all of baseball? W for Brewers Twins, X for Cubs White Sox, Y for Yankees Mets, and Z Dodgers Angels. 234-221. 234 is the text number. Joe Mauer with the bases empty, 2 outs. Mauer is 0 for 2. He struck out in the first, flew out to center field his last time up. On the cover of Sports Illustrated this week for the second time in his career. And a base hit to right.
And second hit of the series for Joe Mauer. The first was an infield base hit. And you're not going to keep that guy down very long. Too good of a swing.
And when Mauer gets his hits, that means you have to face Justin Morneau with runners aboard. Morneau plated the first run for Minnesota in the fourth at an RBI single. He swung at a first pitch curveball from Burns. Pops him up on the first pitch here. That's playable. Kendall off with the mask, and he's got it for the out. So Burns gets Morneau to win the inning. Twins score a run. They lead 3-zip. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
And welcome back to Miller Park. I'm pleased to be joined by Brewers owner Mark Attanasio and his family. They're in town for a very special presentation, award they received. Mark and his wife Debbie won the COA Parents of the Year award, and that had to be quite a thrill for you guys.
I rode on Debbie's coattails on that one.
How about you, Debbie? How was it to receive this honor?
It's the best honor I've ever gotten, I have to say.
And Mark, I got to ask, why is it so important for you and your family to be involved in the community with SCORE and other programs such as that?
I just think that baseball is a thing. Debbie talked about at lunch. Baseball is something that brings families together and people together. And so we can use our platform as an organization that 3 million people come through. And another long ball to the warning track.
Yeah, they do a little play-by-play, too.
But anybody hit the ball harder than J.J. Hardy and had worse luck. But we can use the fact that we have 3 million people come through here to be leaders in the community and continue to bring people together outside the ballpark, and that's what we try to do.
And Debbie, I got to ask, how was the speech today? I heard Mark was able to thank a lot of people, including his parents, and what did you think of his speech today?
I thought that our son's was better.
There you go. That's why you guys are the Parents of the Year. And Mark, got one baseball question for you. I know there's a lot going on with General Manager Doug Melvin and ideas and thoughts. And how often do you, I guess, check in with those guys to see what's going on?
You know, I feel like it's, a couple times a week, but Debbie said at lunch it was 3 times a day, and my guess is she's tracking me more closely than I'm tracking myself. We've been talking a lot for the month of June. Once Ricky Weeks went down, we had a sense that our team really was missing something, and Doug's been talking to the other clubs pretty much since the calendar turned here, both for offense and defense, offense and pitching. But, the beauty of what Bud Selig's created with the wild card is pretty much every team but 2 or 3 are in it right now. So a lot of folks aren't ready to make a move yet, and we'll see. The important thing is we have to keep playing well so that we can build around what we have.
And finally, going back to the luncheon, once again, you were able to thank your parents. They are watching today's game. Want to give them another thanks on Fox Sports Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think my mom sent me a note. She's in her den, so Mom, and I know Dad's not far behind. My dad tends to put her around the kitchen, my mom in the den. They're watching the same thing here, so they're both watching us 20 feet from each other on 2 different TVs. Probably good for the Arbitron ratings.
Absolutely. We'll take it. Thanks so much for your time, and hopefully you'll have some more late-inning heroics like you had last night in the attendance in last night's game, of course.
This game is far from over.
All right, Brian, let's send it back up to you guys.
Okay, Telly, thanks a lot. Good to see the Atanassios here. Yes, we encourage as many televisions on in your house as possible.
What is that he was saying? Arbitron rating?
Yeah, the ratings, more TVs.
Isn't it households?
Households, ratings. He can say whatever he wants. Rocky's the owner.
I'm not going to argue with the owner. I'm just curious. I never heard that before.
He's a numbers man.
Yeah, I never heard that term before.
Say hi to the Atanassios watching. Mark's parents. It's a great award for him. The COA Youth and Family Center's Parents of the Year.
The oldest charitable organization in the state of Wisconsin.
Nice.
We used to have a golf outing for that organization. They do fabulous work for inner city kids and get them out to camps and different programs throughout the year. And good group of people.
Now Kendall down on strikes. 2 up and 2 down. And it's good to hear Mark talking about some of the conversations and the thoughts between he and Doug Melvin. Now, obviously, for obvious reasons, you can't discuss teams you're talking to or things you're trying to do, but there's no question Mark Attanasio is a very competitive man, and he's proven that as an owner, and he wants to go out and make trades that are going to help the ball club if it does help the ball club. But what he does is he allows Doug Melvin to make those decisions and determine whether those trades are worth it.
And it's not just as easy. I know fans want to see moves being made and opportunities out there to improve the ball club, but no, it's not as easy as that, because nobody, as Mark was saying, is willing to part with any talent at this point because of the wild card and because of the parity in baseball. There's not that 1 or 2, 3 teams that are so far ahead of everybody else that teams are starting to look toward next year. That's not the case. So nobody's really willing to make a move and give up pitching in particular.
No balls and 2 strikes to count on Mike Burns. Little bouncer. Baker will take it himself, and a 3 up, 3 down inning. Baker is mowing down the Brew Crew right now. 3-0 Minnesota. We head to the 6th. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
And today's time of the game winner is Gays Mills Amico in Gays Mills, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
To the 6 we go at Miller Park. Bright sunny afternoon here in Milwaukee. Temperatures near 90 degrees today. Most of the ballpark in the shadows. And those shadows starting to creep out over the mound right now. Mike Burns allowed to hit for himself in the 5th inning. Maka likes the way he's throwing the baseball, and he toes it up against Jason Kubel. First pitch swinging, and out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
Tomorrow night is Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Night right here at Miller Park as the Brewers take on the San Francisco Giants. Find a buy one, get one free Terrace ticket voucher for that game with your most recent Time Warner Cable statement. That's good while supplies last. Now I got a text message, partner, from my wife of all people. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Kate.
She wasn't reminding you about her birthday.
No.
Okay.
She heard us talking about Dave Winfield and Paul Molitor.
Uh-huh.
And she wanted to remind me that they both got their 3,000 hit on the same date in September. Different years. You know, she's a St. Paul gal.
Yes.
And they both grew up together, very close to each other in St. Paul.
So a little insider information from the R&D department in the Schroeder household.
Which makes for just a little consternation after ball games. Getting home, you know. Twins fan. She says she's not a Twins fan, but
judging by that information, I find that hard to believe.
She says she's a big Brewers fan, but you know has a little bit of that Twins thing going on. You know.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of that around here.
But happy birthday, sweetie.
Nicely done. I don't want you forgetting that.
No. It's good information, though. I wouldn't have said it, happy birthday, had she not provided some good information.
I'm glad you cited the source as well, as Burns strikes out Kadire. Speaking of Mike Burns, he was under the tutelage of Chris Bosio in AAA pitching coach, who now is handling Manny Parra. And you heard from Chris Bosio today as well.
Yeah. Boz and the Nashville team are in Albuquerque. They're listening in and working with Manny Parra. Says Manny's coming along nicely. Yeah, Boz, good baseball man, knows pitching, knows baseball in general. Manny Parra in good hands down there.
Yep, Don Money managing that team in Nashville after many years in AA Huntsville. Parra went 7 innings last night against Albuquerque. Or 2 nights ago, I should say. Creedy hammers one. That is way back there, and Cameron's going to watch it fly out of here. Solo home run for Joe Creedy. And the Twins add to their lead. 4-0 Minnesota as Creedy belts his 11th of the year.
Well, fastball right down the heart of the plate. That was down a little bit, but Joe Creedy able to get good extension. Creedy swung the bat well in this series.
Well, with 2 outs, Ken Maka is going to make the change here. So Mike Burns, in his first career Major League start, is out after 5 2/3. Just a moment ago has it 4-0 in favor of the Twins. And Ken Maka making an interesting move here with 2 outs and the bottom of the order coming up. He removes Mike Burns from the game and gives way to Chris Narveson, the left-hander out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and Burns only with 90 pitches so far in this ball game today. So yeah, interesting move. Narveson on for the 4th time for Milwaukee.
Well, Narveson will turn Tolbert around, switch hitter, and a ground ball, base hit. So on the first pitch, Tolbert singles, and that'll bring the pitcher Scott Baker to the plate.
It's one of those things where you kind of scratch your head once in a while when Burns been throwing the baseball pretty well. He had 2 outs. He gave up the home run, and you know your bullpen's going to be used quite a bit, or at least you think so on Saturday. 2 days from now when Seth McClung makes his start, you figure Seth is going to be good for anywhere between 60 and 70 pitches. I mean, he's been able to eat up 3 innings, 3+ innings, has McClung.
Baker lines one right to Cameron, and that ends the inning. We'll take a look at what the Brewers have coming up in their starting rotation when we continue. It's a hot afternoon here in Milwaukee. Shirts off in the bleachers out in left field, and the Twins have a 4-0 lead. Boy, the Brewers trying to make a comeback here once again. It was a late comeback last night thanks to 2 Twins errors. The Brewers with 2 outs in the 8th inning scored twice to take the lead, and their first win against Minnesota. But it has been an incredibly tough matchup with the Twins all season, and really going back a couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's amazing how well the Twins play, except for that one play in last night's ball game where they gave the game to the Brewers. But the Brewers have been hitting some baseballs pretty hard today, but unfortunately right at the defense of the Twins. Same scenario last night.
Top of the order, Craig Counsell leads off. This will be the 3rd time through the batting order against Baker. Baker's given up 2 hits to the Brewers. He has 3 strikeouts. And really since the first inning, Milwaukee hasn't had many scoring opportunities. The Brewers had runners at the corners in that first. Actually had a runner at third base and only 1 out in that first inning.
There's only been 4 base runners. They're not going to have many base scoring opportunities and only have 4 guys on base.
3 strikeouts and a walk for Baker today. The leadoff walk he allowed in the 2nd inning was quickly erased on a double play. Pitched 8 1/3 against Milwaukee back in May in Minneapolis. and beat the Brewers that day, one of his 4 wins on the season. I'll see if the third time through the order will make a difference. Counsell doubled against Baker in the first. A leadoff double just started for the Brewers offensively today. Brewers welcoming the Giants tomorrow. Homestand continues with a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants, who are playing very well. Giants are 7 games over 500. They are 39-32. They're 7.5 back right now, the Dodgers, but they are thinking about a wild card in San Francisco as well. What a pitching matchup tomorrow. That is going to be one for the big leagues tomorrow.
Yeah, look at Matt Cain, 9-1, a 228 earned run average. Wow. They have some kind of starting rotation.
Zito gets the ball Saturday against McClung, who will be coming out of the bullpen. And then Jonathan Sanchez against Jeff Suppan Sunday. Gallardo and McCain, 2 of the best young right-handed pitchers in the National League.
It's always a good day at the ballpark when Gallardo has the ball. When he goes out there on the mound.
There's where the Giants sit in the West, 7.5 back. But right now they would be the wild card team in the National League. Slightly better than the Brewers on the record. Counsell draws a walk. Terrific at bat by Craig Counsell. And that snaps 5 consecutive outs for Scott Baker.
Only the second time or the third time the Brewers have had their leadoff runner on. Cameron walked in the second. And Counsell's leadoff double in the first.
The Brewers searching for some kind of offense. Only 2 hits, both of them doubles. Counsell and Fielder with the hits. Baker has now walked 3. One of those intentional, however. Casey McGee is 0 for 2. McGee looked like he had an RBI single back in the first inning. He hit a bullet toward the hole between first and second. It was a diving stop by Tolbert, who got to his feet quickly and got the out. And one of the main reasons why the Brewers have been unable to score. That would have certainly led to a run in the first. McGee with a couple of home runs, 13 driven in. And he hammers that one deep right center. That is well hit. Span is going back. He looks up. Goodbye! Casey McGee, a 2-run home run. And the Brew Crew right back in it.
A beautiful approach by Casey, taking that ball into right center. Fastball away from him. Got good wood on it. And jumped on out of here. Ball carrying pretty well here at the ballpark. Up and away. Number 3 for Casey. The 16th that Scott Baker's allowed in the first 1 in 4 starts. Gave that one a ride to the opposite field. Nice swing.
Effortless power, and the Powerball home run number 3 for McGee. And it's a 2-run ball game. What's interesting about McGee's home runs, his first one was down the left field line. His second one was against Justin Verlander down the right field line, and this one into deep right center.
And nice short stroke. Boy, the more you see him, the more you like him. Both at the plate and in the field.
On pops it up. This is going to just get out of the reach of Morneau.
And now you look at the numbers for Scott Baker and you say he's given up 16 home runs. That's a lot of home runs, but he gave up 7 of those 16 in his first 2 starts. He went 3 starts before today without giving up a home run.
He did allow 2 home runs against the Brewers back on the 24th of May. But that, his first home run allowed since June 4th. Only Jeremy Guthrie has given up more home runs in the American League than Baker. 4-2, Twins lead it. 0-2 to Braun, and he takes a called strike 3. Perfectly placed fastball from Baker. And Braun is 0 for 3 today.
He doesn't come inside very often, but right here, able to locate pretty well. I don't think that's where Mauer wanted it. He wanted that ball elevated. Wanted that ball up around the letters. Baker missed with it, but found the corner.
Mauer didn't exactly catch it all that well.
He didn't think it was going to be anywhere close to where it was. He was looking for that ball to be up around the letters. A waste pitch. What do they call that? A good miss?
A good miss. And who says you need to frame it behind the plate to get a strike call?
A lot of times an umpire won't give you that pitch if you don't see it very well.
Fielder into right center field. He'll watch this one go. Prince Fielder goes downtown, and the Brewers within a run.
No, that's what they do. They hit home runs, and when they hit them, they ordinarily win. That was a slider that hung up in the zone, and Prince Fielder were able to get on top of it, and nobody in the outfield even moved. They just stood there and watched it go into the Tundra territory out there in right center.
Well, Fielder homered off Baker in Minneapolis and gets him again here today. Fielder's had a terrific afternoon at the plate. 2 hits, a walk, a double, and a home run. And Milwaukee within a run now. Fielder belts his 18th long ball of the season.
Not much doubt about him when he hits them. Everybody, even the Minnesota outfield, watched that one.
Prince now tied for 6th in the National League in long balls. Ties him with Adam Dunn. And Fielder now at 68 runs batted in, second only to Albert Pujols. Having an all-star season. Matter of fact, he is having an MVP type season.
Not much argument here. Plays every day. He started every game for Milwaukee, has Prince. Got that batting average, 300 RBIs, homers, you betcha. Leadership.
Ball and a strike to Hart. Now goes to 1-2. McGee and Fielder with home runs in the 6th inning. Casey McGee is making it very difficult for Ken Macha to leave him out of the lineup.
Yes, he is.
And you have to love that about him. Ball and 2 strikes to Corey Hart, who is 0 for 2 today. Brendan Harris throws him out, and it's out number 2.
And with 2 hits today, Prince Fielder now at 302 at batting average. A stated goal for Prince. He'd like to be a 300 hitter, and if he continues to be patient at the plate like he's been, got a good chance to do it.
Well, and he is well on pace to walk 100 times this year. The Brewers have never had a player in franchise history walk 100 times. Jeremy Burnett's had 99 walks. That was as close as any hitter's ever gotten. Fielder and Braun are on pace to do that.
Yeah, Prince with now 52 walks.
In only his 72nd game.
Yeah, last year only 84 walks for Prince all year. So a little bit more maturity, comfort at the plate, being much more patient. Not only do the walk totals go up, but you don't need as many hits to hit 300.
Well, can the Brewers climb the mountain here against Minnesota? They're down a run. Twins led 4-0 to start this inning. 3 runs are in. And the 1-2 to Cameron. Foul tip into the middle of Mauer. That's the inning. A couple of strikeouts for Baker, but the Brewers strike finally. Their first home runs of the series. A 2-run shot by McGee. Fielder a solo shot. And a Brew Crew within a run. Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Well, McGee and Prince Fielder bring the Brewers within a run. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? Giants coming in tomorrow, start a 3-game series. And the Brewers are hoping to start that series having a series victory under their belt. Need a win today to do that, but it's getting late here at Miller Park. We head to the 7th. Chris Narveson will stay on to pitch. He faces Denard Span, Brendan Harris, and Joe Mauer to start this 7th inning. Span's had a great day. 2 walks and a triple. He has scored 2 of the Twins' 4 runs. Narveson falling behind Span 3-0. And he has been on base all 4 times today.
And last guy you want in this lineup to walk because he can fly. One of the few guys that will steal a base in this lineup. Now tomorrow night against the Giants, the first 10,000 kids 12 and under get a set of G-Force trading cards. Every card features a character from Walt Disney Pictures G-Force in theaters nationwide July 24th, and in Disney Digital 3D where available.
Now Bill Castro out with a quick visit with Chris Narveson. And while we have a minute, I want to send our get well wishes to Roger Strauss at Rocky Knoll in Plymouth, Wisconsin. And he broke his arm. He's a faithful Brewer fan at age 74, and we want to send our best out to Mr. Strauss. Hope you have a fast recovery, and thanks for watching the Brewers with us all season long. Narveson to face Brendan Harris. This is the part of the order that in the 4th inning plated 2 runs when 8 men came up, but it was started by Span and Harris at the top of the order. Harris has 4 home runs this year. He's driven in 16. Had a sacrifice fly and an RBI back in the 5th. He did ground into a double play in the 1st inning. And looked like he was going to ground into a double play in the 4th. But he hit a little cue shot that rolled up the arm of Burns, and that's what opened up the big inning for Minnesota.
Anytime the first 2 in this order get on, you're asking for a lot of trouble, particularly with nobody out. And Narveson has yet to throw a strike in this inning.
Narveson came in for Burns, gave up a hit to Matt Tolbert, then retired Scott Baker on a line drive out to center field. That ended the 6th. That one's in there. Good pitch. Fastball inside corner. It's 2-2.
Boy, let go those 2 fastballs pretty good. Finished them well. Right on the inside corner. Sometimes when you call that pitch in, and maybe even a curveball or a slider, you're able to help a guy finish his delivery. Give him a better chance of catching that outside corner later on.
Narveson spent a little time with the Brewers during spring training. It was a non-roster invitee. He appeared in 6 games this spring. But it was that performance this spring that earned him a shot with the big league club. Brewers purchased his contract on the 13th of June. Had to be placed on the roster. Here's a line drive into right center. Cameron able to cut it off. That's big. That saves a run. But the Twins have runners at the corners here with nobody out. And the top of the order doing damage once again.
And that's going to be it for Narveson. It's not often that you take out a left-handed pitcher to bring in another lefty, but it's going to be Mitch Stetter to try and get through these 3 left-handed hitters.
Well, the inning in the 6th, they get 3 runs, the Brewers do. Now they're in trouble. from Creedy in the 6th inning. Meanwhile, Casey McGee, a 2-run homer for the Brew Crew in the 6th. And then Fielder, a solo shot, a no-doubter, brought the Brewers within 1 against Scott Baker. But back come the Twins. They are threatening once again. 2 on, nobody out. Joe Mauer is the batter, and Mitch Stetter is on to pitch. Stetter came on, did a job last night. Pitched an inning last night. Went the 7th. He struck out the side. Gave up an infield hit to Mauer, but he struck out Morneau and Kubel to end the inning.
Yeah, 14 consecutive outs via the strikeout for Mitch Stetter. Amazing work from Mitch.
And has Mauer, no balls, 2 strikes. Stetter with a franchise record, by the way, with those 14 strikeouts. 0-2. That one bounces off of Kendall's glove. That's going to lead to another run. And that one hurts.
Now that's got to be a pass ball, doesn't it? As much as it's tough for me to say that word, or those 2 words. Slider away off the glove of Jason Kendall. I don't think it hit the ground. Nope. Off the end of the mitt. That's got to be a pass ball.
5-3 Minnesota. Runner at second now for Mauer, and the 1-2. Mauer pops it foul territory. McGee lost it. Hardy, a long run, can't get there. So Mauer lives to see another pitch. That ball went up in the air, and the infielders kind of froze for a moment. Like wondering where it was exactly.
Hey, that wasn't fouled by much either. I mean, off the bat, it looked like it might be inside that left field line, but just barely foul.
Ball and 2 strikes on Mauer. 5-3 Twins lead it. And Mauer lines one into the gap. Deep left center field. That's down. That's big trouble. One hops out of here. Another run scores. The Twins come right back and get 2 runs. Still nobody out as Mauer doubles in his 43rd run of the year. 6-3 Twins.
And it's an amazing thing. You get right back into the ball game. You're down by 1. It's those leadoff walks, and of all people, Denard Span. He's walked 3 times. He's hit a triple. Here's a guy that's been on a DL his first game back, and has been setting the table for Mauer and Morneau all day. You can understand walking Mauer. You understand walking Morneau, even Kadire and Kubel, but a guy that hadn't played for 2 weeks, he's got 3 walks. He's got 3 walks and he's scored 3 runs.
Yep, he has been tough at the top of the order. All 5 runs coming from those top 2 spots. Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question: what makes Mitch Stetter effective versus lefties? Jason in South Milwaukee. That's what they call a funky left-hander.
Yeah, the arm angle. Simple as that. The arm angle and his ability to throw that slider where he wants to, down and away. Important that he gets ahead. See that ball coming from the second base side of the bag at second base, or basically where the second baseman plays. That's tough on a left-handed hitter. Not as tough for a right-hander to follow.
Got him. Morneau strikes out. And Stetter's streak continues. 15 outs via the strikeout for Mitch Stetter consecutively.
Now he would tell you that he'd just as soon had Joe Mauer, the batter before, to pop out and end that streak. Unfortunately, he doubled, but the streak continues. Small consolation for Mitch.
1 out runner at second. Another lefty in Kubel at the plate. He hammers one. Playable for Hart. Mauer will not tag. And a big swing did Kubel, but he must have gotten it off the end of the bat a little bit. Very little carry on it.
Yeah, it didn't sound like he got the sweet spot on it.
So 2 outs. DeFelice is ready in the bullpen. Got Kadire at the plate with a base open at first, and Creedy is on deck. And they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Michael Kadire. So the streak ends at 15 for Mitch Stetter after that fly ball out by Kubel, a franchise record. Covers 7 outings for Stetter. 15 straight outs via the strikeout. And an intentional walk to Kadire. The Brewers will take their chances with Joe Creedy, who has had a big series. Creedy had a double and an RBI last night. He had a home run back in the 6th inning here today. Drove in 3 runs in the opener. 5 RBIs in 3 games for Creedy. And Maka will make the call to the bullpen. So Stetter gives up a double and a run, and now DeFelice coming in. Stay with us.
Get up with Ozzie. In the American League, you know, you let your pitcher go. How many times you pinch run in the American League? You don't. You know, it's so stoic in the American League. You know, a manager has to be very creative in the National League because he has the pitcher hitting, so he's got to either leave him, take him in there. You know what? Your manager lost the game yesterday because he let the pitcher hit in the 8th inning.
That's the battle between Davey Nelson and Ron Kumar on Inside Corner Brewers Live pregame report. You can still vote 234-234. Type in Davey, though. I mean, that's all you need to know. Nice job of arguing.
That's right.
Mark DeFelice aboard in the 7th. Let's send it back to Brian and Bill.
All right, Craig, Davey, thanks a lot. DeFelice trying to retire Joe Creedy. The Brewers intentionally walk Kadire to get to Creedy. Primarily for that reason right there. He is shown a tendency to chase the breaking ball, and DeFelice has as good of a cut fastball as you'll see. 28th appearance of the year. He's got Creedy 0-2. Kendall wants another one, and down he goes. So 3 pitches and a strikeout for DeFelice. The Brewers, however, surrender 2 big runs to the Twins and trailing by 3 once again.
time they were up to bat, and Davey, Minnesota got 2 back. Now is the time for the Brewers to answer. It's getting late.
Well, that's right, partner. They come back and answered that movement, made the game 4-3, then came right back and lost that momentum. I think right here they've got to try to respond and get back into this ball game.
Well, let's see if they can get it done. R.A. Dickey in the game now to pitch for Minnesota. Davey and I will have Brewers Live postgame report sponsored by Lincoln Mercury coming up after the ball game. Our instructional different bats used by Brewer ball players. Davey and Bill will be demonstrating those. So stick around for Brewers Live postgame coming up after our full game coverage. Brian, let's send it back to you.
All right, Craig, you see R.A. Dickey in the game for Minnesota. Second appearance of this series. Dickey making his 20th appearance of the year. He pitched well in the opener on Tuesday. And a couple of defensive changes for Ron Gardenhire. Denard Span moves into left field from center field. Carlos Gomez is now in the game in center. So the Twins very fast on the left side of that outfield with Gomez and Span. Bottom of the order for the Brewers. J.J. Hardy leads off. Milwaukee down 3 in the home 7th. Scott Baker in line for his 5th win. It would be his 2nd against the Brewers. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs.
Now the Minnesota Twins send a knuckleballer out there for, as if it's not tough enough to see with the shadows right now. For Joe Mauer and the Brewer hitter is going to be tough out there. Joe Mauer with that first base like catcher's mitt. As much leather as you can have on your hand with a knuckleballer out there, the better. As much as you can.
Well, Dickey pitched 2 scoreless innings. There's the R.A. Dickey catcher's mitt, resembling a first baseman's mitt more than anything else. Got a little padding in it.
Yeah, really no sense in giving a target. You just sit back there as a catcher and hope for the best.
Hardy's 0 for 3 as he pops up, and 1 gone in the 7th.
Dickey, one of those guys, though, that will throw his other pitches. He just got J.J. on the fastball that time. You go up there, you look for a knuckleball at about 70 miles an hour. He'll throw the fastball mid-80s, and it'll get by you. Curveball, slider, fastball, knuckleball.
Kendall takes a strike. The Brewers got within a run after a 3-run 6th. But Minnesota puts 2 on the board in the top of this frame, the 7th. And that top of the order has done severe damage to the Brewers today. The Twins' first 2 hitters, Span and Harris, scoring 5 of these 6 runs. Harris bobbles, recovers, and throws out Kendall. 2 outs. Well, the Brewers are giving you another great chance to come out to the ballpark this summer. The Dollars for Dingers promotion comes to an end after today's game. For every Brewers home run through today, fans have received $1 off a Loge outfield ticket for July 7th or 8th. Those 2 games against the Cardinals. Now, the regular ticket price is $28, so 11 home runs hit. And whatever's hit the remaining of this game. So that's what the reduced cost will be on the tickets. Tomorrow morning, tickets on sale for Dollars for Dingers as Jody Garrett pinch hits, and this is going to be an easy 1-2-3 inning. The Brewers go quietly in the 7th, on our way to the 8th at Miller Park.
delighted that we could be somewhat of a role model for everyone here.
That was Mark Attanasio earlier today in his speech, a family Parents of the Year and a great family award for him. I know he's proud to receive that honor. And I know he's proud to see 40,000 people in the ballpark on a Thursday afternoon in Milwaukee. 40,524 the official attendance today.
You know, the Attanasios have really done a nice job. Not that the Brewers weren't a family-oriented organization to start with, but they have brought it to a new level. Debbie Attanasio has really catered to a lot of the women in Milwaukee as far as apparel at the fan zone, and they've added a very nice touch in that regard here in Milwaukee.
All right, Chris Smith will take over out of the bullpen. 6-3 Brewers trail by 3. And Smith will have Tolbert leading off, and then the pitcher spot after that. Actually, Gomez is in that spot, so no relief at the bottom of the order. Tolbert singled his last time up. Made a terrific play way back in the first inning, robbing McGee of a base hit and an RBI. Twins have scored in each of the last 4 innings. Mike Burns started, went 5 2/3 for Milwaukee, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 3. The Cardinals lost today. Santana outpitched Chris Carpenter. What a matchup of aces that was. There's a line drive into left center field. Cameron will play it on a hop. Base hit for Tolbert. His second hit of the game. Santana, the Mets beat the Cardinals 3-2. Scored all of their runs in 1 inning. A 3-run 4th inning for New York. Santana went 7, surrendered just 1 earned run. Carpenter went 7, gave up 3 earned runs. Frankie Rodriguez with his 20th save of the year. And he earned it today. He had a couple of walks in the 9th inning. Cardinals were threatening. What that means is the Brewers need a comeback and they can get back into a first place tie in the National League Central. Carlos Gomez batting for the first time. Came in on the double switch defensive move last inning. Territory in the seats, and it's no balls and 2 strikes on Gomez. Gomez has been leading off the last couple of games. Had a triple and a run scored yesterday. He was 1 for 4. Had 3 hits in the opener on Tuesday. 2 singles and a double, and he drove in 2 runs. Oh, 2. Smith with a runner at first. And Gomez skies one to center field, playable for Cameron. First out of the inning. Now tomorrow evening, Brewers baseball returns. A matchup you will not want to miss. Giovanni Gallardo will take to the hill versus Matt Cain, who is 9-1 on the year for the Giants. Our coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night with Brewers Live right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers have not seen the Giants since the opening series of the year when they dropped 2 out of 3 to San Francisco. They have been quite a surprise in the National League. I don't think many expected the Giants to play as well as they have played this year.
Well, tied with the Dodgers for the best team earned run average in the National League. All of baseball, for that matter, 3.64. And that starting rotation is terrific.
The Giants make 2 trips to Milwaukee this year. They'll be back in September. The Brewers will not have to face Tim Lincecum, however. Pitched last night. Frustrating afternoon for the Brewers skipper Ken Maka. He's seen his offense finally wake up in the 6th inning for 3 runs, but the Twins got 2 right back. 6 runs on 10 hits for Minnesota.
Anytime the number 1 and 2 hitters are on base 6 times in front of Mauer and Morneau, you're asking for a lot of trouble. And that's what's happened today.
Harris has 2 hits and an RBI.
I'd be glad we don't have to see those guys anymore, those 2.
I think a lot of teams feel that way. But as you mentioned, the very first thing we said when we hit the air as this series began was you have to control those around Mauer and Morneau if you're going to beat the Twins.
Yeah, particularly the top 2 in the order, and that hasn't happened.
Runner takes off. Span lines one to left. Braun got a late jump, but able to run it down. And now a throw to first. Fielder able to knock it down. Not a bad idea.
It's coming Saturday against the Giants. It's Cerveceros Day, presented by Citgo. The Brewers will wear their special Cerveceros uniforms as a tribute to Hispanic ball players. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
And who are these Cerveceros playing that day, Rock?
Gigantes.
Nice.
I only make a mistake normally once. I mean, especially that one when I get called out on TV. So. You don't have to beat me over the head ordinarily. Gigantes. I got to talk to John Miller about that because I heard the Gigantes from him.
Oh yeah,
you're going to go correct him too.
You're calling out John Miller, is what
not.
You're doing?
No, you're saying he's wrong.
Oh, he's wrong. If he's called him Gigantes, he's wrong.
Maybe I didn't hear it right.
Maybe. That's a strong possibility. It's okay. Cervecero. I wonder if the Giants are wearing any special uniforms. Probably not. Those Cerveceros jerseys and T-shirts and merchandise, very popular.
Yes.
You get more requests for that. The bouncer, Hardy cuts it off, gathers himself, and makes a nice play to win the inning. All right, the Brewers with 6 outs to work with. They're down 3 to the Twins. a quality start for Baker. The Brewers got him in the 6th, however. McGee had a 2-run home run, his 3rd homer of the year. And then Fielder in the same inning hit a long bomb into right center. That brought the Crew within a run, but the Twins got 2 in the 7th, and their lead pushed back to 3. And in front of 40,000 here at Miller Park, the Brewers down to their final 6 outs. And it's going to be Matt Guerrero who sets up for Joe Nathan, facing the top of the Brewers order in the 8th.
Well, pitched in the first game of the series on Tuesday night. Pitched a scoreless inning. Pretty good bullpen for the Twins, particularly the back end. Set up men and Guerrero, Joe Nathan. Joe Nathan, one of the best in the American League. One of the best closers.
Craig Counsell at the plate, presented by Wendy's. A double in the first inning. He was stranded. Then he walked in the 6th after falling behind in the count quickly. A ball and 2 strikes. He ended up drawing a walk, and he was on base when McGee went deep. Matt Guerrero has not given up a run in 14 games, and he's only walked 2 batters in those 14 games. Sitting on a consecutive scoreless inning streak at 10 1/3. A workhorse. He made 76 appearances for the Twins last year. That was a career high. Counsell slaps one to left. Span's got it for the out, 1 away.
And like all these Twins pitchers, they very rarely walk batters, which really limits their damage, limits the trouble that they get into. You got to hit your way on against the Twins pitching staff. The fewest walks for any pitching staff in all of baseball this year.
Here's Casey McGee. Homered his last time up. McGee, his 3rd homer, now 15 runs batted in.
And when you combine the limited walks that the pitchers allow and the very few errors that they commit, you really have to earn your runs. They don't give you many runs. They did last night, which is a rarity.
Well, we've seen the Twins now for 6 games. And it's just shocking that they are under 500. Obviously, it's a much different ball club as they go through their season. You talk to Twins personnel about their team to start the series, and you hear some hemming and hawing, and you're going, well, I haven't seen it.
Guys are banged up. They're complaining about guys not really producing, and guys around Mauer and Morneau not doing much. Well, we haven't seen any of that. It's certainly not Ron Gardenhire and his staff. It's the folks that travel with the club.
But the point is, against Milwaukee, they play their best baseball. McGee into deep left center. Did he get enough? Span is on the run, and he's got it for the out. A narrow miss for Casey McGee, maybe a fraction of an inch on the bat.
Just that last bit of movement as it gets to the plate. Got in on his fist just enough to keep it in the ballpark.
So 2 outs, and here's Braun.
You see the way that ball comes in on Casey, a little bit down on the trademark, and F7.
Braun launches one. This is way back and gone. Ryan Braun with a solo home run, jumping on the first pitch. Number 16 of the year for Braun.
Well, he missed his spot there, didn't he? Mauer wandered on the outside corner. It looked like a slider that didn't do anything. Look at the way the eyes stayed down on that baseball. Slight blink at the point of contact, and see you later. Boy, that's a nice swing by Ryan. Nice and easy. Not over swinging and way back and left.
So Braun with his first hit of the game. And it was out of here in a hurry. And the Brewers within 2 now. Fielder has 2 hits and a walk today. That home run by Braun snaps Guerrero's consecutive scoreless inning streak.
Well, that was a great shot of the eyes of Ryan Braun, wasn't it? I mean, both eyeballs focused right in on that baseball. Wide open. And crushes it to left.
And unfortunately, just a solo shot. Fielder down, no balls, 2 strikes. A cue shot foul. Brewers have hit 3 home runs today. Now 84 home runs for the season. In game 72. Fielder strikes out, and the inning is over. Well, the Brewers get 1 back, but still down a pair as we head to the top of the 9th. And now Chris Smith back on the mound and trying to keep it at a 2-run deficit, give the Brewers a chance at the bottom of the 9th maybe. Mauer leads off. Mauer, Morneau, and then the pitcher spot due up. Mauer with 2 hits today, has an RBI. He drove in a run with a double his last time up. That was back in the 7th. Mike Burns started for the Crew and 5 2/3 gave up 4 runs. Chris Narveson went a third of an inning, allowed 2 runs. Stetter picked up a couple of outs. DeFelice got an out, and Chris Smith working in his 2nd inning. In the bottom of the 9th, the Brewers will have Hart, Cameron, and Hardy. Most likely against Joe Nathan, who is loosening now. Cardinals have lost today. Mets beat them 3-2. Cubs lost today as well. Tigers beat the Cubs as Smith strikes out Mauer. Out number 1.
Yeah, backdoor breaking ball. Nice pitch by Smith. But I guess it's a good news, bad news scenario for the Brewers. You don't like the fact that they haven't been winning a lot of games, but it's a good time to be losing if there is such a thing. Nobody else in the division is doing much.
Maurer tells Hunter Wendelstedt that was outside. That was a little outside right there.
Very nicely.
Very politely in a very classy Midwestern kind of way.
As opposed to,
you know,
rough, gruff Texan?
Yeah, something like that. Or, you know, the New Jersey way.
Right.
Like you used to.
I think a New Jersey guy might have, and I'm a New Jersey guy, so I can say this, said in a little bit more of a testy manner. Perhaps some of us try to be as politically correct with that as we can. We don't want to generalize.
2-1 to Morneau. Morneau drove in a run in the 4th inning. 1 for 4 today. So the Tigers beat the Cubs again, and Detroit has now won 7 straight games. Twins are doing all they can to keep pace with the Tigers in the American League Central. They need a win today to stay 5 games back of Detroit. And Morneau draws a walk.
I think National League Central has seen about enough of interleague play for a while, don't you?
Yes.
The whole division's really scuffling right now. Cincinnati coming in, they've lost 4 straight.
Yeah, only the Cardinals have a winning record against the American League. Cardinals 8-4 in interleague play. Brian Busher hitting in the pitcher spot. His first at bat. Overall, the American League to begin the day, 106 wins compared to the National League's 91. So plus 15 for the American Leaguers in interleague play starting today. Busher strikes out. Good changeup from Smith. 2 strikeouts for Chris Smith. You know what's interesting about some of the interleague numbers? Brian Michalogic sent over a couple of notes here, Rock. American League pitchers batting compared to National League pitchers at the plate. American League pitchers batting .099, while National League pitchers batting .153. Now, National League designated hitters a higher batting average than American League designated hitters.
That's a surprise.
National League DHs, 268 average. And during interleague play, American League DHs, guys who are comfortable and used to doing just that, 234 batting average. So why all the losing for the National Leaguers, you say? The inning is over. Last call for the Brewers. Need 2 to tie, 3 to win. so far. 6-4. Twins lead the Brewers as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Scott Baker, at this point, our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. He goes 6 innings, 3 runs, gave up just 4 hits, and he struck out 5. Scott Baker in line for his 5th win of the year and his 2nd against the Brewers this year. But still some swats left for Milwaukee. 3 outs remaining. And Joe Nathan, one of the best closers in the American League, is on the pitch. He has 16 saves this season.
No hard throw. He saved the first game of this series. 16 for 18. Look at the strikeouts, the innings pitched. 32 strikeouts, only 6 walks. And has only given up 2 home runs.
Nathan came to the Twins from the San Francisco Giants in a trade that also brought Booth Bonser and Francisco Liriano to Minnesota. That was back in 03, prior to the 04 season. And what a trade that was for the Twins. Nathan has been one of the best since. He spent a decade in the big leagues now and has been a mainstay in that closer's role in Minnesota since 2004. Twice he has saved over 40 games. Last year he saved 39 for the Twins and was an all-star for the 3rd time.
Yeah, walk would be nice right here. Leadoff walks and innings have spelled offense just about all day long for both clubs.
Well, 3 of the 4 leadoff walks have come in to score today. Nathan has blown 3 saves in interleague play in his career, and 2 of those against the Brewers. Full count. Struck him out. Well, since Nathan became a closer in 04, you compare his numbers to Trevor Hoffman. Just about the same amount of saves. 215 for Nathan, 219 for Trevor. And an outstanding save percentage. These guys usually finish the job. 2 of the best of the business. Hoffman saved the game yesterday, his 17th. And Nathan coming back to get Corey Hart and now getting ahead of Mike Cameron.
Now, Trevor Hoffman had a ton of saves before that graphic really started in 04. Trevor a bit older, in that stretch than Joe Nathan.
It'll pop up to center field. Gomez is under it. And 2 quick outs for Joe Nathan, and the Twins are an out away from taking 5 out of 6 from the Brewers this year, continuing their dominance in interleague play.
And I think the Brewers are very happy that if they don't have to look at these Twins anymore this year. It's been a very frustrating series, assuming that they're not able to come back here today.
Nathan pitched in the opener in a non-save situation. He retired the side in order with 2 strikeouts. Prior to that, he had made 10 straight appearances, notching saves in all 10. His last blown save was on May 15th against the Yankees in New York. The 0-2. All in 2 strikes. The Brewers down to their last strike. Down 2 runs in the 9th. And that's it. Hardy strikes out. Nathan saves his 17th. And the Twins take the series from the Brewers. They win 2 out of 3 and 5 out of 6 on the season. A 6-4 final score. Scott Baker the winner. Mike Burns the loser. And Joe Nathan notches the save.